Thanks for staying with us. Author Ann Campbell was born and raised right here in the border city, and what started out as a hobby in her spare time has now turned into 2 published books.
I think a lot of the influence for me to write stories has been from teaching young children. I always taught kindergarten or grade 1 children, so I've always worked with young children, and I think that's influenced my writing a lot, is knowing what kinds of things children like to hear about and imagine in their minds.
And I'm just wondering how you feel about the importance of reading with children and getting together with kids when they're young and sharing these stories with them.
Well, I think from my background as a teacher, I realize that it's so important for children to be read to right from when they're really tiny. And I think even after they're old enough to read their own stories, it's so valuable for them to be read to. There's something bonding about sitting with a child and reading a story. And looking at pictures. They learn about art, and when I'm reading to children, I often ask them how many of them like to draw, and you know, remind them if they really like that, and if they really pursue that, then maybe someday they can do pictures for a book. But I think they learn so much about language and expression and values in life by being read to, and I think it's really important for them to hold a book, and as opposed to always sitting in front of a computer. Not that it's bad, but I think we really need to hold on to that value of sitting together with a child and reading a story.
So when you were a child, did you have a favorite book? Is there something that stands out in your memory that you loved to read when you were younger?
I did have a childhood favorite book. It seems kind of politically incorrect now. It was called Little Black Sambo. It was a story of a little African boy, and I don't even remember the whole story now, but that was always my favorite story. I never owned it, but I used to get it from the Lloydminster library, and that stands out in my mind as my favorite book.
So what's coming up in the future for you? Do you have anything new in the works?
Well, I do have I have a few stories written. I think I know which one I hope to publish next. It will be called Just a Wish, and it's about 3 birds that hear about a foot fairy giving out free wishes. And so they go to this foot fairy, and they don't like their own feet. They wish to have each other's feet, which of course doesn't work. And I think that might be the next one that I do. And it sort of teaches us that we need to be content with what we have and not envy what other people have, because we're meant to have what we do have.
More information on Ann and her books can be found online at ivycottageinc.com. And when ATR returns after this quick break, we're in St. Paul to meet another author.